Hello. Okay, so we are gonna do my hair routine. If you watched my last video, I talked about the products and I'm gonna show you how I apply them. I do half of my hair in the shower just because I find this back section of my hair gets dry quickly. You can already see it's starting to dry. So I need the water pressure of my shower versus just a spray bottle to make sure it gets soaking wet. We go section by section through my hair. Now that I've come out of the shower, I've already done my first layer of products. Anywhere that looks like it's drying and we're seeing frizz like this, we're gonna add more product to. Using the B-Girl, I'm using the last of this product. I have a fresh one, but I wanna finish this one first. And I just like to do a raking motion. I find that raking allows me to have definition and evenly distribute all of the product while still getting a little bit more length than if I were to use a styling brush or finger curl every single part of my hair. So yeah, anything that's looking like a little bit dry, I just add a little bit more product to. And we'll do the same thing on this section. Remember, I've already done all the small sections and distributed product. Right now, I'm just making sure that we get every single strand of hair saturated with product, because that is how we are gonna make sure that this lasts at least 3 days. Really saturate the product here. We're just pulling all the way to the ends, making sure every piece of your hair is covered in product. Also, your hair should be soaking wet. Like, do you see how my chest is wet? That is how you know your hair is wet enough. Like, your body should be getting wet during this process. I hate it. It feels disgusting. It is what it is. We have to do it. So moving on, again, we're gonna section off a piece of the hair about this big. I'm gonna tie the rest up. I told you guys my hair is dry and it's low porosity. I just got out of the shower and my hair is basically dry. So that means we're gonna have to go in with a spray bottle. So when we spray the hair, we're really gonna try to saturate it, the ends, and then force the water onto my hair. If I just let it sit there, it's not gonna get wet. So I really have to push the water into every strand of my hair. This should be pretty good. See how the water is literally rolling off? Then I go in with some product and I rake the product from the roots to the tip. I don't put too much product in my roots because I noticed that if I put too much product in the roots, I don't get as much volume. So I start about an inch lower than the roots and then I pull the product all the way down to the end, making sure the ends are fully covered. And then I just let it fall naturally. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, the section's a little bit bigger. That's okay. It means when the section's bigger, it means I'll probably have to go in 2 times with product versus 1. So again, we're seeing how dry this is already. So that means we're gonna soak it down. This is one of those continuous spray bottles. Honestly, not gonna lie, don't love it. Have been too lazy to replace it with a different one, so it just is what it is right now. Getting the ends and then again massaging the water into my hair. This is probably the most essential part of wetting your hair, actually making sure it's getting wet. I'm taking about this much product, if you can see that, putting it between my 2 hands. Again, massaging it in to start, just covering the hair, and then starting to use my fingers to rake the product onto every single strand. If I feel like I'm not getting enough slip here, that's again a sign that your hair's not wet enough or you don't have enough product. This actually feels really good. As you can see how easy my fingers are pulling through. If you're struggling during this part, again, your hair's probably not wet enough or you didn't detangle well enough in the shower. You should not be pulling out a ton of your hair here. You should already be detangled. You should already have shed. All right, getting to my favorite part, which is towards the front. And if you have bangs, this is gonna be the most important part. We still have one more section before I consider this being the full front of my hair. So again, use your clip, put the dry hair away, grab the section we're spraying. This section's always awkward because it's in the center of my head, so I have to create kind of an angle to make sure it's getting wet. There we go. Make sure the ends are nice and wet and saturated. This looks good. Again, still going in with the same product. This section I massage up. So this is where a lot of my shape and volume comes from, is from this section here. So I like to pull it upwards instead of going down. When you style this section down, it's going to start to make your hair very flat. So we like to style it upwards This is where your arm workout comes in. And I just let this section fall naturally. I like a lot of definition here because again, this is where I tend to see a lot of frizz is towards that back section of my head. This is how it's looking. This looks pretty good. We're not done yet. So this is the furthest back section of the front of my hair. I hope that makes sense. This piece here, we're gonna be styling up. So get a hold of it, wet it. This part of my hair usually stays more hydrated, so I don't have to wet it as much as the other sections. Product, we go up, 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 up and away, and then letting it fall. If you need to here, you can start to style a little bit downwards, the pieces that start to frame the face. Also in this section, you can start to finger curl if you want a lot of definition towards the top. Now, this is my bang section. It seems like a lot of hair, but this is all of the hair that goes across my forehead and the sides of my face. So I split this section into two, same steps, spray, spray, spray. Make sure it's nice and wet. You can also probably see as I'm doing my hair that all different sections of my hair have different curl patterns, and that is completely normal. It's just from different like behavioral things, environmental things, maybe how I sleep, where I tend to brush more when I'm doing a slick back. All of those things can be considered here. I'm just leaving it loose for now. I'm gonna do this section and then we're gonna go in and finger style the rest of it. So again, soaking wet, massage the water into your hair. There's also a lot of product left on my hands. So that combination with the water is amazing and helps give me some slip. This is where we need to start to style, especially if you have bangs. Make sure the hair is saturated in product and water. You can obviously tell my bangs are not this long. Here's where I take really small sections and I just start to curl them around my finger and pull down. We're not being perfect with this. We just want to make sure every strand has product. And then if you want that definition, this will help. Beautiful. Now we move down. This is a little bit closer to the skin on my forehead. We want more definition here. I find that the more definition I put into my bangs, the more days I can actually wear my hair and it not look cuckoo crazy. So again, this is not a hard method. Literally just pull the hair down, twist around your finger, let it fall. Are we starting to see that those ringlets form? That's what we want to see. If you have bangs, try to avoid overly parting your hair. So the goal is to have a bunch of ringlets covering your entire forehead. Again, everyone's curl pattern is different, so your styling is gonna look a little bit different. Some people like to use a styling brush for this part. I don't. I feel like it ends up always making my roots quite frizzy, and then only the ends defined instead of the full strand. So I'm going a little bit more towards the center of my head here, and I'm just starting to pull some extra hair forward and define it. This helps with volume. And I'm gonna dry it forward. When I flip my head back and it's dry, we're gonna see how it falls outwards. So I have a very dry spot here. I've always had this where right here on this section just gets very dry. So a little bit of extra product there helps a lot. There we go. Like I said, we're not being perfectionists about how curly every strand gets. When it dries, it's gonna shrink up and it's going to want to hold on to that product. So this is usually where I stop. I don't do more than this. A, because I could be here for hours. We're not doing that. B, because this is honestly perfect. So around the stage, I look around and I start to see what parts have started drying. Here I can already see, do you see this frizz? We are already seeing that it's drying. This needs a little bit more water and product. So we go in again, soak it, make sure it's wet, make sure it's nice and wet. Beautiful. I'll put a little bit of product on my hands. Not a lot, literally just a tad. There's already so much product there. Sometimes it just doesn't fully penetrate. So that's what we're just trying to do right now. Make sure that it is penetrating your hair. This side I'm not mad at. Again, just raking leftover product onto my hand. Okay, so we're fully styled. I look crazy, I look like a wet dog. Now we're gonna go in with our hold product. So what I like to do is wash my hands, leave them wet. We're going in with Big Papa. This is my hold product. I'm taking about this much. Small little scoop. I'm rubbing it between my wet hands. And then I'm just gonna smooth it over my hair one time and then rake it through. At this point, there should be no dry looking spots on your hair. Perfect. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. You can even scoop a bit of water into your hand so it's extra wet. We're smoothing and then raking. There should be no tangles in your hair at this point either. Beautiful. You can give it a little scrunch. Last time we do that exact same thing to the front. We're not gonna rake though because we already curled. All we're gonna do is put product in our hand with water and scrunch. You really don't need a lot. Literally this little bit of product is enough. Make sure your hands are still wet. We're scrunching up. We are almost done. We have one more product before we diffuse. Last product is a product I was telling you guys about. This is the Design Me spray gel. Absolutely love this product. Literally spraying all over the roots because we didn't put a ton of product there, remember? And then a little bit on the outside and the underside of each section. Get the back. Beautiful Mystic product. Now we're ready to diffuse. It has been 15 minutes exactly on the camera. So I spent about probably 5 or 6 minutes in the shower doing that base and then styling. Usually it takes me 15 minutes altogether, but I'm filming and yapping, so a little bit less locked in, but should only take you 15 minutes to do this part here. All right, we are sitting at my desk. This is where the diffusing happens. I told you guys about my favorite blow dryer. This is the Silken, I don't know what the model is exactly. When you go to turn it on, this is where it shows the temperature. I use it at 203. Now, my hack is I like to actually rest the diffuser on my desk and then bring my head down. So I'll show you 2 POVs of what this looks like. This is actually the only way I've enjoyed diffusing my hair because before when I was using my hand, it's just too time consuming. I'm gonna sit here for about 20 minutes. I can at least edit a video or respond to emails if I'm hands-free. So let's diffuse. Okay, we can obviously see that the hair is starting to dry. One of the most important things is not to over manipulate your hair while diffusing. So that means trying not to touch it. Of course, if you need to lift it off your shoulders, if your hair feels like it's getting stuck to your skin, things like that, move your hair, but do not put your hands through the roots and start playing with it and all of that. Don't over whip your hair. Try to keep it super still and dry it in this state. Trust me, I know it sounds weird, but it helps. Okay, so now that I feel like I'm about 60% dry, I'm gonna go in and go over some sections that I feel like I can't always get when my head's bent. Okay, now we're about 70% dry. I'm gonna flip my hair. I want to say this is about 85% dry. It's definitely still wet. It's been 16 minutes. I am getting very hot. So usually at this point, if I don't have somewhere that I need to be, which is today, I will let the rest of this air dry for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'll come back and break the cast. Remember, the cast is this state. See how everything's very defined? It honestly kind of reminds me of ramen noodles. So yeah, this is the cast. This is the original styling set. We want volume and we want bounce. So we're gonna use a serum to break that once it's fully dry. 100% dry, even 110% dry, like very dry. Another little tip that I can give you, if you don't have bangs but you want volume in the top, what I used to do before I had bangs was clip this section here and dry it like this, so you automatically have about ½ an inch of volume. We are not looking for that today. We're gonna keep the bangs down while my hair is drying. This is when I do my skincare. My face feels so dry. That was the Rhode Glazing Milk with my Neutrogena Daytime Moisturizer. This has SPF 25 product. It's nice and light. It layers very well. Gorgeous. I like to go in with some sort of spray. This is the Pixie Clarity Mist. That just makes me feel extra glowy. I also love the Tower 28 SOS Mist. This is another barrier protecting spray. If you feel like you get bacterial acne, so just like environmental acne from things touching your face, maybe your pillowcases, your cat, your couch, whatever, this really helps protect your skin, especially post-workout. And last step is my eyebrows. I'm just chilling at home today, working from home, so not doing makeup. Just doing my eyebrows with a little bit of gel, brushing them up so that they are locked in. Perfect. And then just going in with a little bit of lip balm. This is the e.l.f. Squeeze Me Lip Balm. Just putting some on my lips. And this is me about 80% ready. We're gonna let this dry a little bit more. If I want to bump up a little bit of blush, I'll do that when I come to break the cast of my hair. It's been about, I want to say 2 hours. So we're gonna break the cast because I'm gonna go for a walk. It's so beautiful outside. So bringing in the next product that I was telling you all about is the Design Me Gloss Me Serum. Beautiful, super lightweight serum. Does not feel oily. Has, I don't want to say greasy because I don't want you to associate that with heaviness, but more so with the slip. So I do about 2 pumps like this. I put it on both my hands so they're covered, and I basically just start scrunching. Usually during this process, I'll start to notice if I feel like any parts of my hair are still wet. This part right here still feels wet, so I'm gonna blow dry it again. It feels already better. I'm gonna go in with a little more serum. I will pass it over my bang area like that. At this point, it's day 1, so I don't want to over saturate with my hair with any more product. Just massaging my scalp a bit. And I'm not gonna pick out my hair too much because it's only day 1. So usually on day 1, if I don't have an event, I'm not going anywhere, I won't do too much to it, just because I want to try to get as much wear out of the hair as possible. When you start picking and manipulating the hair, it's going to eventually get frizzy, and we just want to delay that from happening. So this is where I'm going to leave it. I look a little bit silly because my bangs are not lifted. I'm just going to do this for the sake of the video. So remember, I taught you with the pick, go to the root and pull up. Root, pull up. Root, pull up. And then I'll flip the bangs up like this. Right away, we're gonna go right to the root and pull up just a tiny bit. Okay, so that is day 1 of my curl routine. I will check back in tomorrow morning when I take my hair out of the bonnet, so you guys can see the volume that I get, the definition that's still gonna be there, and the overall shape. You can see that there is a lot of definition, minimal frizz, and overall just really beautiful shape. And this is the final look. You're gonna see the most definition, you're gonna see the least amount of volume on day 1. So this is as small as my hair is gonna be and the most defined, and then over the next 2, 3, and hopefully 4 days, it's just gonna get bigger and more voluminous, but that also means a little bit more frizz. Don't be afraid of frizz. Still try to keep your hair hydrated, and I'll check back in tomorrow to show you how I refresh my hair out of the bonnet, what products I like to use just to add a little bit of moisture. Good morning. So we are gonna take off my bonnet. Also, this lighting is making me look a little bit ghostly. That's crazy. So I like to wear a bonnet. This is actually a smaller bonnet than what I used to wear, and I noticed that it helps my curls stay intact a lot more. I have a little bit less frizz than I would if my bonnet was a bit bigger. There was more room for my hair to move around. I like this one because it ties. So when I take it off, you guys know it's going to look crazy. Obviously, we're not going anywhere like this. So a few things that I like to do is give it a really good shake. I will also hit it with the blow dryer just to add a little bit more movement. And if I feel like I want it even softer, I will go back in with that serum that we talked about. Alternatively, if I don't want the serum, I will use this Lush product. It is the Super Milk. It's a leave-in conditioner. They call it a hair primer. It's really great. It smells freaking amazing. So let's do all that. We're shaking from the roots, not trying to touch too much of the hair. Okay, so at this point, this is getting to our shape that we styled yesterday. I'm just gonna blow it out a little bit just to kind of declump some of the curls. Taking the diffuser head off for this, I want direct, powerful air. So we're gonna go in with our Super Milk. I don't feel a strong cast, so I don't think I need any more of this serum, but a little hydration always is good, especially if you have dry hair. One more little shake, just squishing the product into my hair and starting to fluff out my bang area. As you can see, we have a lot of definition in those places that we finger curled, and then we have still definition but also volume towards the sides and the back of the hair. So at this point, I'm actually quite happy. I'm literally just about to film a casting and then I'm going to hot yoga. So ideally I would not be going to hot yoga. I didn't realize the class that I booked was a hot class. So we're gonna see how this stays. When I go to workouts that I'm sweating a lot, I will try to wear my bonnet, and it's a little bit embarrassing at first, but honestly, nobody really cares that much. They're focused on themselves, I've realized, and anything to protect the curls, okay? So I'm gonna actually leave it like this. I would typically fluff it up a little bit with a pick, but I just don't need that right now. So let me go to hot yoga. We'll do this one more time, take my bonnet off, and I'll show you the final look. Okay, I just realized I never filmed the closing to that video. This is the final look. This is day 2 hair. Okay, so I did my hair yesterday. This is day 2 hair. You can definitely see a lot of definition, which I love. We have volume. I picked out my hair and I'm just super happy with it overall. If you love these videos, you enjoy them, you have questions, please subscribe. Do not hesitate to comment. I love responding and giving some more support or resources when it's needed. So do not hesitate to reach out, and I will absolutely see you next time.